Hello, party people. So, I'm dragging ass a little bit today. Very slow turning of the wheels. Much coffee has been consumed. Much coffee still to be consumed. I'm tired. So damn tired. Not sleeping well. Not 100% sure why. But I'd like to acknowledge the fact that I now have 66 followers on this channel on Rumble. Much appreciated. Please do tell your friends, your family, your foes, frenemies, yeah, enemies, your college professor, your hairdresser, your dog stylist, your costume maker, and your gunsmith. If you would like to support what I do and see me continue to stumble over e-begging attempts, please do go over to my Ko-Fi, fling me a few bucks. I swear to God, at some point, I will have another merch store. Right now, it's just kind of all over the place for various other reasons. Let's see. Yeah, if you'd like to support me, you can fling me a few bucks on Ko-Fi. If you do decide to support me on a monthly basis, I will put your name in the ticker along with Zenrab7, Sadie Sapientier, and Simon JJ. If you choose to do so on an anonymous basis, English, yeah. If you choose to do so on an anonymous basis, I think I almost got through that without stumbling that time, you can just ask me, and I will add you to the Orangutan Gang. If you like, share, comment, follow, or subscribe, depending on platform. If you're going to spend money on me subscribing on Rumble, that's fine. I can't stop you. But I would prefer that you supported me monthly on Ko-Fi instead. I get a better cut. Let's see, what else have we got? Yeah, other than that, you know, like, share, comment, chat. Appreciate all those things. All those internet supportive internet things. Yeah. Okay, let's get into this. And, of course, we start where we always start, with Sic Semper Mentalis. And, dear God, do we have a couple of good ones today. So, from over in the UK, let me just close, oops, stumbling with my fingers now. From over in the UK, but this could have come through the base Japan group, from 26ers BP115, in the UK, an African immigrant trying to ride fare free. He tries to force his way on, but a British driver repels him. Nice one. Yeah, it didn't go the way he thought it was going to go. Also, toughest I've ever seen a man with a man bun.
Whoa, get the fuck off!
Nice thrust kick.
Hell no!
Yep, you've been told no.
Whoa! Stop. There's no weapon! Done! Bro! Oh! Shit!
What are you touching her for? Are you fucking retarded? You know why he's touching her. Because she's trying to force her way on without paying for the fucking ride.
Whoa, get off her! Wait, you should let go of her!
Look at this one trying to throw punches. Yeah, you get what you deserve. Simple as that. Let's have a quick flick through the comments. I had to move my mic back a little bit. Sorry for any noise that may have caused. While there are opinions that it's a personal issue or that the bigger picture is unclear, I think watching videos of immigrants' behavior in London makes it obvious at a glance. It's no wonder they're seen as forcing their way onto fare-free rides. Yeah, it's some AI account saying it's a personal issue. Too ridiculous, so I'm ignoring it. You should. The only answer is remigration. Excuse me. Didger is in. White Rattlesnake is in. Hi, guys. He says, howdy, and savage little animals. Yes. This is your reminder that excuse me, I had to get that out first, that civilization, and hence the reason I said excuse me, is not communicable. Yeah. Bus driver gently escorts passenger off bus. What's this one? I didn't see this one.
One thing I've learned in life is that you don't fuck with bus drivers, and when you do fuck with them, you're going to open the gates and
the guy who spends all day working his
and you'll
forearm.
find yourself on the receiving end of a McKnuckle sandwich buffet. Licks that hand and booyah! teeth. Some are there, some are gone. And of course, so
Some
far,
are teeth.
drinking Hot Pockets out of a
Some are still in
blender
his
to
head,
a
some are on
straw
the
for the
floor.
next 6 months. And one last shot for good measure as a receipt for his efforts here tonight.
Yeah. Go give Steven a follow. He's good shit. Yep. Rattlesnake says, howdy, Didger. Let's see. Account based in Japan doesn't know shit about bus. Buses are free for children. The bus driver should be jailed overreacting and choking a child. Hope he gets what he deserves. What are you talking about? This isn't even... Yeah, bugger off. Speaking of people who should be remigrated, ideally through use of a one-way trebuchet, let's talk about... from Officer Lou, who catches a follow. Wow, the internet is going wild over this dad who brutally beat the man who gave his 9-year-old daughter a black eye. The beating was so savage that a lot of people are saying he should have let the cops handle it instead, despite what the guy did to his little girl. What do you think? Protect your kids or call the police? Just take a quick look at that little girl's face while I go and find a quick clip that I'd like to share. Yeah, that's Costa del Chatelet. Oh, Lomax has something new up. Let me hit save to watch later and share. I will copy that link for you guys in just a moment as soon as I post it out on Twitter. Okay. This one's awesome. Best bus driver ever. Yeah, that was, he was a savage bus driver. If you guys are interested in some really good, very much not slop AI music, go check out Lomax's latest video. Apparently I feature in it somewhere. Possibly, I'm not sure. But yeah, go check that out. And let me find my clips here. Don't show more clips. There we are. The latest clip that I picked up, actually, I will copy the link. I should say I didn't pick it up. I made. But in regards to whether or not you should have waited for the police, this is my response.
Because remember, if no one's coming to help you, it also means that no one's coming to stop you either. But
Thank you, Marcus. Yeah, anyone who says you should have let the cops handle it, no, because the cops won't give the guy corporal correction, which clearly, if he's punching 9-year-olds in the face, he desperately needs. Yeah. Protect the kid because it's clear the cops won't do a damn thing. Exactly. If no one's coming to help you, no one's coming to stop you either. Beat him unmercifully, and if he ever comes back, yeah. Remigrate him with a trebuchet. That's my opinion. Leave the fucking kids alone is also my opinion, yeah. When you let the process play out, you eventually get insane men killing our daughters. This father's response, in my opinion, was warranted. Someone should have beat DeCarlos Brown at least 15 times. Yeah. DeCarlos Brown Jr. is actually not going to go to trial. He's going to get away with it. The guy who killed Irina Zarutskaya. Oh my god, I can't remember her last name. Irina Zarutskaya? Zarutskaya, I think. Zarutskaya? I for the life of me, I can't remember her last name. The judge should be investigated. Lock this animal up. Yeah, the judges, we need to start looking at the judges because we're getting far too many bad decisions from them. Treacherous bad decisions. I need to move my coffee slightly. Okay, over here we have from 26ers again. Great content out of Japan, by the way. So the backstory of this is apparently a black man made an attempt at indecent contact against a white girl. However, this girl was trained in self-defense. You teach your kids how to fight and why. She knocked him out unconscious with a throw followed by 2 knee strikes. I think it was just the 1 knee strike that put him out, and the second was just gravy. But it's actually the very end of this video that's going to be more important. Good hook. Takedown. I have to pause that there. That's actually significantly louder than I expected it to be. Oh, because I have my... He's already out before she threw the second. Now, this is where you need to start listening rather than watching.
Get that girl right now. Who is that girl? Get her.
That's an adult. Yeah. That's one of the administrative staff who, rather than step in and stop this assault from either side, for whatever reason, let it play out, and then wanted the girl caught. I think if you ask the young black fellow when he wakes up, he'll probably know who he was trying to bother. Yeah. And, yeah, absolutely deserved. And they're pulling down Irina's mural. Yeah, that was disgusting that they would pull it down. Now, apparently there's a lot of... It's apparently a little more complicated than it seems, but the fact that they're pulling it down is a bit much. I will remind you, however, the only being we know of for certain to have ever vandalized a George Floyd mural is God. Yeah. Oh, no, I do have one more for Sic Semper after this one. Okay, one more. Well, two more. This one first. Exposed. Irish patriots rip the mask off a government Fed planted in the national fuel protest. Caught red-handed scheming to turn a peaceful rebellion into violent chaos. Gee, where have we seen this tactic before? January 6th, the truckers' convoy. Yeah. Who is Ray Epps again? Apparently this fellow was trying to cause trouble. And it turns out, this is via Wiretap Media, by the way, that Ireland from Newtown, Mount Kennedy to the national fuel protest. Thugs like this government troublemaking plant should be locked up for his criminal activities in Dublin city centre yesterday evening. We can see you all. Yeah. So this is the guy who's shoving people around for no good reason. At an intentionally peaceful protest. Yeah. And it turns out he's a cop. Isn't that nice? We Americans had a solution during our revolution, says Tin Man. Nobody was peacefully protesting during your revolution, sir. We shall have no real hope to survive the enemies arranged against us until we hang the traitors lurking among us. Yeah. Irish lives matter, absolutely. Rise up, yeah. I stand with Ireland. Yeah, here we go. Getting reminded of this. Interesting. Following the Canadian government playbook. Well, they learned from the best, the U.S. I wonder when the bureaucrats will start infiltrating with swastika flags. Well, they probably won't, but, yeah, I've seen this one. This tactic used in Canada, too, yes. Quebec police admit agents posed as protesters. Yep, agents provocateur. You'll never find justice in a world where criminals make all the rules. Absolutely true. Canada trucker protests. Some same playbook, planted a Nazi flag, had some punks started a hotel fire. They blamed the truckers. Yep. Let's see. That's a racist animal who wants to see white people beaten and killed. Absolutely. Oh, my camera's decided to be fuzzy. Oh, wait, no, that's me. I'm not normally fuzzy. Hang on. Let me see if I can get that to focus. No, it loses focus right about there. That's better. Okay. If the Irish are only going to be peaceful, nothing will change. See, it's interesting you say that because... well, a little later, we'll see how the Irish aren't being all that peaceful. At least I think we will. I think I put that in the stack for today. So this is the last of the Sic Semper Mentalis today. And we'll move on to base Japan after this. In Spain, a counselor for the Socialist Party, the Commies, who supports diversity, visits a kebab shop to show solidarity with the Muslim community. And gets beaten up for being gay. What did he expect? Oh, what he expected, I can absolutely tell you what he expected. He expected to be welcomed with open arms by his communist brothers. Not realizing, of course, that there is no place for homosexuality in Islam. Christian theocracies would tolerate it, but condemn it. Muslim theocracies will condemn it and eradicate it. Amazing how that happened in Ottawa with Mounties everywhere. Not one of those Nazis got arrested. Yeah, it's a weird fucking thing, isn't it? There was also the black fella, if I recall correctly, who was walking around with a swastika. But he did get interviewed on camera, and he said that the reason he's got the swastika flag there is to show that the government is behaving like fascists. Fair. I don't know if I 100% believe that story, but yeah. Either way, he seems to have vanished fairly quickly as well. The story about trying to burn a building down was so stupid it was laughable. Yeah. I think those two, if I recall correctly, did more damage to themselves than they did to the building. But we'll get a flavor of this really quick. The weird thing happens to communists and gays. When they get too close to Muslims. Well, the gays anyway. Even the cameraman doesn't get left alone. Okay, time for my favorite new segment, Space Japan. Yeah, I do deeply appreciate, and I suppose I owe Elon Musk a very big thank you for auto-translating Japanese posts, and now we're discovering that not only do the Japanese not have a lack of concern about what's happening on this side of the world, they're suffering it too. And we're all finding that we're standing in solidarity with each other. Based and beautiful. From Zunda Motesuki, peeking into the situation from outside the gate, an African immigrant trying to force their way in. Doesn't this really scare you? If you call this scary, don't you think it's messed up to say it's discrimination or something? It really is scary, though. And I will pause this here, blow this up so we can watch the, well, I think just doing it this way is more than enough. Yeah. Yeah. No, that one's not on fucking whatever the fuck he could get his hands on. Yeah. Now, the translation here isn't the absolute best, but I'll basically render it in my own words and try to keep the flavor of it. Essentially, he's staring in. The question is, doesn't this really scare you? Now, that's a separate question from this. If you call this scary, don't you think it's messed up to say it's discrimination or something? Basically, the question being asked is it really discriminatory to say this is scary? Because, of course, the leftist or the communist, Marxist, whatever term you want to use, or anti-white, or in this case anti-Japanese, or anti-Nipponese, I suppose, in this case, that type of person would say, well, you're only saying that because he's black and you're racist. No. Also, when asked if this is scary to me, I have to point out, this doesn't scare me, but then again, I outweigh that guy by a factor of 3. Yeah. Just like The Shining. In Texas, after the second hand reach, homeboy gets shot. No trial, no expenses. I wouldn't even wait that long. Once the guy put his face against the bars and started leaning through, it would be like click, click. Yeah. Gun owners hearing footsteps at 2 a.m. Brazil has a bunch of problems, but being cowardly with this kind of animal isn't one of them. A Nigerian guy got killed here on the basis of murder because he tried to harass a teenager. A Muslim doesn't stop in the middle of the street to worship Allah because if he does, the Brazilians run him over with the car. Yeah. Do not allow them to attempt to demonstrate their dominance over you, or you will make it real. He's not really glaring. That look is absent. It's almost soulless. It's more a case of, well, I wouldn't be shocked if it turned out this person was a former child soldier. Let's put it that way. I've seen that look on several faces in person. I live in the U.S. where we have guns, so yeah, zombie shoot in the head. Yeah. We absolutely shouldn't bring it into Japan. It was truly a good thing that the hometown concept was abolished. I'm not sure what this hometown concept thing is. JICA, don't know what that is. We'll probably try to do it again, so we need to firmly raise our voices in opposition when that time comes. So anyway, I started blasting. Yeah, discrimination's fine, isn't it? What are you telling me to do? Yeah, sometimes the translation is a little iffy. Riria, I can't even pronounce that. I don't think it's meant to be pronounced. I think Japan should refuse entry, even if it's going to be called discrimination, because there are a lot of gullible, good-natured people in Japan. Yeah, you don't bring more good into the world by allowing evil to flourish. I don't have a lot for Base Japan today either, apparently. This is the last one for Base Japan. From RX99992. The sight of left-wing black people trying to cozy up to... Oh, I thought I threw them a follow before. The sight of left-wing black people trying to cozy up to Japanese people to get them to join in on bashing white people, only to get brushed off by the Japanese and immediately pivot to calling it hate speech. It's exactly like the Okinawan leftists who tried to cozy up to the otaku to rope them into anti-war activism, but got rejected and then turned to bashing otaku. It's so spot on that you just can't help but laugh. Yeah, the leftist basically works like this. You're my ally until I disagree with you. Or you disagree with me. That's how they work. It's constant struggle session. You don't have to go so far as to mock Japan thoroughly and then cheer long live China. Can you give a teaser of the Okinawa otaku thing? As a non-Japanese, I don't get the reference. Okay. The left wing was mocking otaku, calling them criminals. Weebs? Criminals? I don't know if I go that far. The approval ratings of the left-wing party plummeted sharply. In a panic, the left wing starts trying to side with the otaku, but gets rejected with, "Hey, do you remember what you were saying about us just the other day?" Yeah. The left wing flips out in reverse rage and slaps the label on otaku with being government lapdogs. Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at this. Let's see the Gen X Patriot. Hey, Gen X. I sort of feel like one of my Japanese bros who sent this to me. We are not the same? No. Click noises and crime. We are more similar than previously believed? Yes. Very much yes. Yeah. I do... Well, we'll leave that part of the caption alone, but together we stand. I do like that because we're seeing a lot of Japanese Western solidarity, and it's very nice to see. Translate post, yeah. Communists aren't human. Words are a tool, a weapon to them. Yes, it's very true. Okay, so we come to the end section, which is, of course, usually the largest one, which is... It's time for the comments section, boys and girls. Yay! I'm really tired. Well, sorry, I should rephrase that too. I'm very sleep deprived. Okay. Canada's not real. Canada has ceased to be a real country. It is now completely AI slop. Yep, it's all slop. All AI slop. No, I'm not kidding. This is actually real, apparently. From Kevin Sorbo. Hi, Kevin. Yeah.
We will not let fear win. A world without trans people has never existed.
Lies.
A world without drag has never existed.
Lies.
And it never will.
Lies. Well, wishful thinking.
Queer people have always been here amongst us.
I'm sorry, hang on.
They are existed, and it never will. Queer people have...
Oh, queer people. Okay. You need to do something about whatever's going on with your mouth.
Always been here amongst us. They are...
No.
Our co-workers. They are our brothers, our sisters.
What if they're non-binary?
They're our mothers, our fathers.
No. I can guarantee you gay people are not your mothers or your fathers, because that's not how fucking biological sex works, dumbass.
They're our families. Drag is art. Drag is culture.
Drag is art? Barely. Culture? No.
Drag is...
Subculture, maybe, but not art.
Educational.
Drag is educational. Why do you always want to tell stories and have the kids around when you're dancing, but you never go to old folks' homes?
Drag is creative. Drag is comedy, but drag is not a crime.
No one said drag was a crime. Well, not anymore.
My name is Scarlett Bobo, and thank you so much for your time.
Fuck off. from Greg Wycliffe, who asks, Grok, is it true that in the press conference this video clip is from, a provincial MPP in Ontario presented legislation that would make transphobic and homophobic remarks a finable offense up to $20,000? None of my brothers or sisters are a fucked up true, and sorry, get therapy, rapist. Excuse me. I don't know if I go as far as calling them all rapists. Excuse me, Tidger, but it's definitely used as camouflage for some of them. Yes, that's a press conference from April 2023 where Ontario NDP MPP Kristen Wong-Tam, interesting choice of names, introduced her private members bill, the Keeping, I'm not even going to try with the alphabet soup, Community Safe Act. It proposed community safety zones up to 100 meters around drag shows and LGBTQ events, banning homophobic, transphobic, intimidation, threats, or offensive remarks, with fines up to $25,000. The bill wasn't passed. No shit. Because when you say offensive remarks, you take the ability to deny intent to be offensive away from the person who actually said the remark. With fines up to $25,000. The clip features drag artist Scarlett Bobo. Yeah. Okay. Let's get the show more up here again. Okay, so let's just take this as we're looking at it. A community safety zone of up to 100 meters around a drag show, including in a library or kids' school. Yeah, no. Homophobic, transphobic, intimidation, threats. Okay, threats in general are already illegal in Canada. There's a charge in the criminal code called uttering threats. Why do you need more? Why do you need to be protected more than everyone else? You don't. But you want us to believe you do. Because you can't live without the idea of being special. You're not. You're unique, just like everybody fucking else. Let's see, from Liz Churchill. Shocking, the Irish government is at war with its own people. Yeah, Ireland's defence minister confirms the army is being sent to crush peaceful protesters. They are deploying troops against Irish citizens while the country is flooded with migrants. Treason. Yes, we're seeing treason of this sort all over the West. I wouldn't say this is history repeating in this fashion. If I recall correctly, this is Tiananmen Square. All we have to do is stand up and their little game is over. Isn't the NWO fun, eh? Yeah. Once you give up your guns, they're going to kill you. Yeah, because they'll be able to and you won't be able to stop them. Now, apparently, this young lady, who we saw defend herself, or at least her sister, apparently there's some suggestion that she's some sort of rabble-rouser. I don't care. She was defending someone else. Yeah. What is this? I have been going to and from UHL for the past 3 days as a family friend is currently an inpatient, and have to say it's nearly been easier at times to get there than a normal day of traffic. Yeah, with the roads being blocked by farmers' tractors. Isn't that a weird thing, how the truckers' convoy didn't actually crush traffic in Ontario or Ottawa, and this particular occurrence is not crushing traffic in, I think it was Dublin or Ulster. Let's see, none of my brothers drink less during the day too, freak. Yeah, there is no time in history where the people who were censoring speech were the good guys. It's true. White women are not hysterical. Yeah, and they'll kill you if you say otherwise. Yep. Or, nothing happened at Tiananmen Square. That's just Western imperialist lies. I'm sorry, you're absolutely right, my Maoist brother. It didn't happen because of the actions of one man. It happened because of people who were just doing their jobs. Yeah, and might have had something to do, at least in part, with people who should have known to leave things alone. I mean, you ever ask yourself what books they were burning? And why? Yeah. Okay, let's get over to this one. This one I think is also from from Europa.com. I'll throw a follow to you. Germany's government is proposing a bill that could block people from buying homes if they're suspected of anti-constitutional views, even without a criminal conviction. The draft would give local authorities, which is town councils essentially, first refusal on property sales and allow intelligence agencies to share personal data to vet buyers. It is framed as a way to stop extremism. Anti-constitutional views. Isn't it funny that technically Islam is anti-constitutional to Germany? Yeah. Yeah. Do you think the government would allow this to be used against Muslims? Would they fuck? From Linda Quinn, it didn't start with gas chambers. It started with one party controlling the media, one party controlling the message, one party deciding what is truth, one party censoring speech and silencing opposition, one party dividing citizens, that's obviously AI then, into us and them and calling on their supporters to harass them. It started when good people turned a blind eye and let it happen. From Solzhenitsyn, a Marxist system is recognized by the fact that it spares the criminals and criminalizes political opponents, also known as anarcho-tyranny. It looked like your tweet. Good. It's not chaos, it's planned. Import migrants, destroy culture. Jail citizens for criticism. Turn police against citizens. Invoke digital ID or surveillance. By hook or by fucking crook. Yeah. What else we got here? It is in the interests of tyrants to reduce the people to ignorance and vice. Control information and drug them. Gee, isn't it interesting how during COVID there were approved messages and disinformation, and yet the drugstores, or sorry, the pot shops and the liquor stores were all kept open. But you couldn't buy toys for your kids. You could buy video games for them. Weird. Yeah. For they cannot live in any country where virtue and knowledge prevail. Yeah. This is the West in 2024, yeah. Yeah. A cop is subduing an innocent bystander. This is the man who had tried to subdue a violent immigrant. This guy. And another violent immigrant with a knife just comes along and pops the cop in the neck. Yeah. And now, police in Germany are wearing fucking chainmail. Yeah. But yeah, no, you know, let's be as diverse as possible, right? From Skin to Eastwood, heated debate at migrant hotel. Met police officer insists, I work for the government, not the public. Yeah, we're going to let this one play out.
No, are you?
I said that.
So, another fine example of why women should never be allowed in authoritative roles.
I said that you paid by Ibis Hotel?
No, are you? To be standing on their property right now recording?
Am I paid?
Yeah, you paid to be recording their hotel. No, you're not, are you? So, why don't you leave?
You shouldn't ask me to leave like that. Why are you being rude to me?
I'm just reiterating what the staff have told you.
Yeah, that's fine. I heard what you said.
That's not rude, is it?
I heard what you said, but it's not up to you to tell me what, you know, they want.
Okay, and it's not up to you to tell me what to do, is it?
Well, it is, actually.
It is.
Oh, it is?
Okay, we'll agree to disagree on this because you're obviously not going to agree with me. So.
It is. Last time I checked, you are a public servant. I am a member of the public.
Not a public servant.
Oh, yes, you are.
No.
Why not?
The cop who thinks she's not a public servant. Yeah, I bet she doesn't even know what a samurai was either. Didger, CN. While the only cop who can get off a shot in time to save his life is being restrained, but yes, that's another thing as well. The two female cops who were at that incident froze and ended up being more of a problem. They were a detriment just being there.
I'm an emergency service. I respond to emergencies. I'm not a public servant.
A police officer that says, I'm not a public servant, should be fired immediately.
Don't serve you.
Who do you say?
I don't serve you. She's talking to a member of the public, and her response after she's asked, well, who do you serve, is...
The government.
Government. Government. A police officer who doesn't believe she serves the interests of the public, she serves the interests of the government, because the government pays her salary. What she fails to realize, though, and it's the same when people say, oh, we have free healthcare in Canada. Yeah, the government pays for it, but where do they get the money? They get it from the people.
Not you.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Don't serve the public, I serve the government.
Really?
Yeah,
You're
I'm
wrong.
employed by the government, not you. Not by the public.
You're wrong. You're absolutely wrong.
What's your job?
Yeah. Me? Not a public servant, that's for sure. Why? My job, well, I am actually, you got it right a minute ago, an auditor.
Yeah.
I go out, I film whatever I see in public.
What's the channel?
I exercise my right in public. Anywhere that I have the public access, I will exercise my rights.
I also like how he just completely ignored the police officer's question and just refused to answer it by continuing his point.
And I don't like it when police officers try to infringe on that right. or try to get involved.
Let's see. I think Barbie the scientist is confusing public servant with government employee. Or is she? Yeah, well. These are the sort of people who will betray you for $1. The sort of people who, when their oath becomes inconvenient, it is forgotten.
Especially now, you're getting involved in something that's none of your business.
Because they've called us.
Yeah.
We have to respond to the call.
Yeah, but you're telling me they're asking
We
you
have
to
to.
leave. I don't have to leave. At the moment, I don't have to leave. This is a hotel. It's publicly open. There's a sheet over there of planning permission, asking us, the public, for permission. Now, I am the public. I came to have a look. Now, I don't expect you as a police officer, public servant, I will correct you again, to just move me along. Yes, you are.
She's continuing to say she's not a public servant. She has no idea what her job is. She just does what she's told. Yeah, what was that Orwell quote about the young women again?
You're a crown servant and a public servant at the same time. You're here to serve the public. I am pretty sure you never served the king before. Because I'm pretty sure you never met him before. Have you ever met the king? Maybe you have. I don't think so.
What's your channel? Is it very interesting?
It's quite interesting, yeah.
What's the channel?
Why are you asking me?
We can have a look. We can have a look at us later. We can add 3 views to you.
3 views?
Yeah.
Are you going to make a privacy complaint?
Sorry?
Are you going to make a privacy complaint?
That was the thing.
There is. Some people, what they do, they start making privacy complaints. And then to save me the headache, sometimes it's easier just not to say the channel.
Yep, smart. Get women off the front lines of law enforcement immediately. We've run the experiment. It failed. Yes. I would even suggest taking them out of law enforcement altogether. The same as that they should be taken out of any military role that isn't purely administrative. As with policing, I kind of agree with Angry Cops. He's got a very good point. He says women can make really good detectives. They're not good frontline cops. I'd agree with that. As an investigative figure in an investigative role, yeah, they'd probably be okay. But I don't think they should be. Yeah, it's kind of hard to say because, again, if you give them authority, they're likely to misuse it. Or at least slightly more likely than a man to, anyway. And it's a lot harder to hold them to account when you have HR and other things, whereas with a man, you can literally give him a shake and say, listen, you need to stop this shit. Man to man, things are way different.
And then that way, by the time you make a privacy complaint, it's already out there.
It can't be a famous one.
So now he's just trying to disparage the guy's channel. Fuck off. Also, the guy's Larry Rona, if anybody's interested. I don't use TikTok, so fire this person. She does not know her position. She serves the public, as do you all. Yeah. The worst thing is that the intelligence of most police officers seems to be so low, it's like being policed by teenagers. You're not wrong, Ed. And... oh, that's the Jolly Heretic, by the way. Another great follow. You're not wrong, though. But it's not like being policed by teenagers. It's like being policed by people who don't know their job is to actually police. Yeah, where does the government money come from that she's paid with? Yeah. Let's see. It was always the women, and above all the young... I knew I'd find this quote if I scrolled far enough. Who were the most bigoted adherents of the party, the swallowers of slogans, the amateur spies, and nosers out of unorthodoxy. Oops, I said the quiet part out loud. Yeah. Not for nothing, but remember the tale of the camel who kept putting his nose under the tent until the tent was his. Okay, that's kind of irrelevant to this particular interaction. Somebody had a point to make. Damn. And, of course, there's a police officer. I guess that's going to be an offensive message now. Yeah. The fall-off of Banksy is such a fucking disappointment. Think before you post. Fuck off. I work for the government, not the public. And that, boys and girls, and that police, is why I fucking hate the filth. Yep, I can understand. There isn't a single police officer in the United Kingdom I'm not afraid of. Not one I would trust to tell the truth or obey the laws they swear to uphold. I do not believe they are here to protect me in any way. Yeah, you shouldn't have to say that, but... the British police, a politically directed goon squad and instrument of state oppression, they are not on our side. No. No, it's long past time people realize that the police are not... excuse me. Well, this one's C, and then you have the AI. They are technically not civil servants. Fuck off, Google. You don't know shit. You're not voting your way out of this. Yeah. Speaking of not voting your way out of something, let's talk about this cunt. I've never been able to track down that one video of a dude trying to get 2 fat female police officers to help him with someone nearby, and they keep saying, call 911, it's not our job. Were they American cops? I think they were. And I think I know the clip you're talking about. Banksy is just another cultural grifter who got exposed. Many such examples. Yeah. Banksy made political art, but at a certain point, he failed to realize that the art was the important part and the politics was not. From Ryan Garrettson. Watch Marilyn Gladu get hammered with questions. She will now vote exactly how Carney wants. She would have called a by-election if the Elections Act was changed. Yeah, okay. Nobody said you couldn't call a by-election. You could literally step down and run again. Yeah, no. And she doubles down saying that her constituents wanted this. Yeah, they elected you as a conservative, Marilyn, not as a liberal. Why are you suddenly on Team Liberal? Yeah. Whatever dignity and respect this person once had is completely gone. Yep. Rattlesnake. The stuff going on in Ireland is concerning. It should be. It's Ireland is speed running where the rest of the West is going to end up if things don't change. Best of luck to the people of Ireland. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, this is a little bit long, so we'll skip around a bit.
You've taken strong positions on a series of social issues that are at odds with the Liberals. Are you ready to take their lead on those now?
100% I agree with what the Prime Minister said. I will.
Only a few weeks ago, she was sending out responses to her constituents calling the Liberals criminal. Yeah, but now she's standing with them. The morals of a politician are more flexible than any circus acrobat. Anyway, I'm going to go grab some water. I'll let this play for a little bit.
Vote with the government. I will protect the rights and freedoms of women to choose, for people to be who they are and love who they love.
You said before that you would that MPs across the floor that they should run in a by-election. So when do you intend to resign your seat and run in a by-election or follow through on the call?
Well, I also said that in order for that to happen, the Elections Act has to be changed. And the Elections Act has to be changed to make sure that people will have to either sit as independents or call a by-election. That law has not been changed. And so when it does, I would be happy to do that.
You know you could.
Did you ask the Prime Minister to get that law changed so that you could run in a by-election?
I've had many discussions with the Prime Minister, but what I'm hearing is from people that are saying, look, this is a critical moment for our country, and we need to get building those nation-building projects, and we need to diversify our trade. We need to address these tariffs that are unjustified in the U.S. And so I'm going to be working with the Prime Minister and the new Liberal team to address those things.
Do you still oppose a ban on conversion therapy? Do you still oppose a ban on conversion therapy?
I oppose conversion therapy. I always did. The first bill that came out had freedom of expression issues. Once they fixed that, it was the party I was with at the time that passed a unanimous consent motion.
She votes for the party she's with. Yeah. Let's see. The fastest land animal on Earth is a woman running away from responsibility. Rattlesnake says, you're wrong. Politicians' morals aren't flexible. They just don't have any to begin with. Fair. Fair point. I stand corrected.
To see that pass. So 100% of people are against conversion therapy, myself included.
Like, I heard you in your speech right now. You seem to be saying your constituents voted for this, and the Liberals. The first person we talked to yesterday in Sarnia couldn't believe it. They called you a turncoat. They couldn't believe what you had done. And you're telling us that they want this. I just don't buy it.
Well, all I can say is that I've been listening to my constituents since last summer.
Bull fucking shit. Your constituents voted you in as a conservative. You stood as a conservative. Now you're suddenly liberal. Your constituents did not want that, and you did not go back to your constituents to offer them the opportunity to say yay or nay on it.
And this is what my constituents are saying. This is what they want. And certainly it's going to be good for the riding. We're going to receive the support we need. It's going to be good for the country. I've experienced to help build it. And it's good for me personally.
You have experience and helped build what? The country. Fuck off. Let's see. Serious question. When are the lynchings set to begin? There's no schedule. These political terrorists are leaving the general public with fewer and fewer options to peacefully express themselves and live their lives. They will never leave you alone unless you make them. And once you have to make them, you can't leave them alone anymore. It's... yeah. Good for me personally. Yeah, I bet it is. Yeah. Lord DS, Marilyn Gladu, your constituents told you just about a year ago what they want. We know this because there is a process to figure out what they want. It's called an election. Yeah. You can just imagine the betrayal felt by those who voted for her, given what she's claiming. Yep. There it is. Good for me personally as well. Yep. I must go now to my liberal speak indoctrination. It's good for me personally. I've already told my leader that I want steak on Air Carney. Yep. Not buying it either. Something's just not right. No shit. Maryland Gladu. So when is the by-election? Sorry, what's this? Oh, isn't that interesting? Less than 4 months ago, actually 3 months ago today, March, February, January, yeah, 3 months ago today, Maryland Gladu back to call for automatic by-elections for MPs to switch parties. Wow. Yeah. Sarnia Lambton Bakujwanang, not English, is backing a call to hold automatic by-elections when a member of parliament defects to another party. Middlesex London MP Leanne Rood is sponsoring a petition calling for the move. The petition says unrestricted floor crossing can erode voter trust. You think? Amid rising political corruption and scandals, and that voters, quote, deserve immediate accountability when an MP switches to another party mid-term, potentially altering Parliament's balance without endorsement. Yeah. It would also prevent the sort of buying of majority that Kearney is engaging in. It's good for me personally as well, yeah. Yep. I smell fuckery. That's my fox. No ethics, no morals, no values, yep. Yep, they're all just at the cash trough, yep. It's good for me personally as well. That's fucking glorious. So I stuffed the bribe money up my ass and mouth and crossed the floor. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to more things that you shouldn't let people who think they're women do. From Kevin Zorbo again. This is perverted and wrong. Grown men are now pushing their sexual deviancies on children, grooming them. Yes, this would always be prelude to abuse in any other healthy society. Let's see here. Hopefully the Canadian gun confiscation plot fails. It looks like it's going to tank horrendously. Hopefully, but do remember that Butterface G... That's not fair. You leave poor Gary alone. He's doing the best he can with a low IQ. In charge of disarming us, has stated he wants to use off-duty and retired cops to go through neighborhoods looking to collect guns. Yeah. I don't see the off-duty and retired cops who were members of forces that have already refused to take part in the confiscation being interested. But, good news, not really, Mark Carney is now recruiting foreign troops, so if the cops won't do it, he can send the army. And it'll be an army of foreign mercenaries who will have no compunction whatsoever about shooting you and taking your guns. Yeah, you thought the ETF was bad.
So you know I'm in the military.
Yeah.
Do you know what else?
No.
Do you know what it means to be transgender?
If he does, I'm going to be very, very unhappy. Good.
No? When you're born,
you don't need to be told. Also, this thing is going to say you're assigned a gender.
Doctor says it's a boy or it's a girl.
The doctor doesn't say that. The doctor points out what fucking nature has decided.
Yeah. And sometimes they're wrong.
No, sometimes you're wrong. As in your thinking is twisted, and you decide to deny reality, and that's quite enough of this shit. I doubt the retired cops will be willing to die for it. Well, see, here's the thing. If, say, a handful of cops 5 or 6, show up at your door and say, hey, we want your guns, and you go, you can take them from my cold, dead fingers, they may very well try. They will be protected. So, yeah. Dr. Seuss, if you're born with a dick, you are not a chick. Leave the children alone. Yeah, I'm right there with you. This is the end goal of LG... Jesus Christ. Fucking sickening. Yeah. You're up. So much for opening. This woman mentioned her old name or his original name, which is his real name because he's a guy. Why don't you ask if he still has a penis? Oh, we don't answer that question either. I'm sorry, but if a child looked up and asked if he still had his penis, I'd be very concerned about why that child is asking that question. This is, oh, okay, not your business says, this isn't grooming, it's educating. Something you need to take notes on. Also, the fact that the children aren't judging him while you're judging says more about you than it does the children or the trans person who's educating them. Why are you calling them a trans person all of a sudden? You use the her pronoun here, so why isn't this woman? Why are you saying trans person? Unless you yourself understand that you're denying reality and your brain is automatically stopping you from doing it full force. You mean the delusional man who thinks he's a woman? I bet he still has a dick in his pants. You're not a female. That would be true if we lived in Fantasyland. Yes. Yes, that would be a woman if we lived in Fantasyland. We don't. If it's educating, then give them the other side. Tell them this is not accepted by many people, and it's okay for them to not accept it. They need to be aware of it, but they don't have to agree with it. It's their choice. Let's see what else is here in this. It's not as many as you think. Oh, you're terribly wrong about that. Your side won't win this battle. That's what you're projecting. We'll see, yeah. I bind that demonic spirit in your life in Jesus' name. In nomine Patri et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. You're kidding me, right? Kids at this age should not be subject to this ideology. If they feel different when they're adults, is one thing, but this video held to the no. No one is subjecting kids to this. Literally, a child being subjected to it. These people will deny reality when it's in front of them. Shouldn't be a shock that they'll deny reality when they're looking at their own bodies. From Millennial Woes. Oh, hang on. Child abuse. Yes, did you're absolutely right. White Rattlesnake. We need to bring back mental institutions. Yes, and mandatory confinement. The children are small, trusting, and kind of scared. Yes. Somebody investigate not your business's electronic devices. It might be an option. Okay, from Millennial Woes. It almost feels like a done deal now with Israel, a completely disgraced country, despised by everyone but its bribed/blackmailed/fanatical supporters. The only question left seems to be how many people Netanyahu will kill before he is forced out of power and the country passes into an eternal ignominy. And I point out, I wouldn't say I despise Israel. That would require me to give more of a fuck about them than I do. The only thing that irritates me about them is their refusal to leave other countries alone. Yeah. They have been viewed in this way before and have gotten out of it by criminalizing and suppressing saying such things. I wouldn't like to bet my house on them failing to do it again. There is apparently a push for federal anti-Semitism laws in the U.S. We already have such things here. October 7th was the beginning of the end. The 40 beheaded babies made the 6 million questionable. Broadcasting and celebrating their Holocaust of Gaza won't be forgotten by an entire generation. Israel won't make it to 100. I don't care if the country of Israel exists or doesn't exist. I care if they're affecting my life, and they are. Any party with a Friends of Israel looks pretty gross right now. Conservatives, labor reform. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Ryan. Imagine a sovereign power so evil it collapses as soon as it is really seen. Yeah. With every bout of Israeli aggression, I am inspired again to replay, no. My money was on Kim Jong-un with a steel chair after they touched his embassy in Tehran. Please. Oh, and someone attempting to suggest that Woes doesn't understand the discourse. Or is pretending not to understand it. Yeah. How exquisitely clueless you are. Yes, because you are so much smarter, Mr. Barnes, than Millennial Woes. Abraham Accords expand Kazakhstan, Somaliland join. Gulf defense ties deepen versus Iran. Tech economy hums resiliently. Netanyahu's standing rebounds on security wins, not fanatical delusion. Yeah, the thing about Netanyahu is he's been dodging a court case for a while now. And it's almost like he moves from crisis to stay in power. Yeah. Let's see. Didger, on the one hand, I do have Israel Jew fatigue. On the other hand, I'm already sick of all the it's the Jews caterwaul. Yes. Even if it is, who cares? That's my stance. Even if the Jews do control everything, who cares? If you can find a way to get them out, aces. If not, work for the good of your own. The best way to take their strategies and use them. Jews have been known to impoverish themselves to keep the younger generations healthy. Based. That's exactly the duty of the elderly, is to promote the benefit of the next generations. How this has been lost on the boomers is beyond me, but it is true. Devitier Crypto says the Greater Israel Project seems dead now. Really? The war ended in Ukraine? The Israelis gave up southern Lebanon? No. They're going to keep trying. Tikkun Olam, my friends. Tikkun Olam. Okay, moving on to Defiant Elves. This bitch is crazy. Jesus, just look at the eyes. Hang on. Look at those eyes, and you tell me this person is sane. This is, let me see, Green Party candidate. For Scottish Green Party candidate. I want to see the complete abolishing of the prison system in Scotland. Prisons are not safe. They're violent. They're really poor for people's health and well-being. If no one's coming to stop you. Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, the whole caterwauling. It's always the Jews, man. There's a degree of accuracy to it in some cases, potentially. The bigger problem is that just doing this does nothing. Let's see. Let America kill as many mullahs as it needs to collapse the insane death worship cult in Iran, then figure out how to contain Israel's influence later. Prioritization. The problem is that, at least as I've gathered, and I may be wrong, and feel free to try and correct me if you disagree, but with some of the things that were said in the media by U.S. politicians, it certainly seems that Israel instigated this, whether they directly commanded it or they simply forced it by circumstance with the U.S. I really don't want to deal with it either, to be honest. The physiognomy is, oh my god, what the hell is that? Yeah. That's no, it's I don't believe she's Jewish, but yeah. Generally, when someone mentions physiognomy, that's where they're headed with it. But I'm pretty sure this one is Scots.
So I would want to see the complete abolition of the prison system in Scotland. Prisons are not safe, they're violent, they're really poor for people's health and well-being, particularly if you're a woman, and they fail to support rehabilitation. So actually they don't make those of us who are not breaking the law safer either.
Putting a bad person in a cage doesn't make you safer outside that cage. Okay.
So people are rehabilitated, they do reoffend.
Oh, wait, hang on. What?
The law safer either. So people are rehabilitated, they do breaking the law safer either.
Okay, now it's this next part I'm trying to hear.
So people are rehabilitated, they do reoffend.
So people are rehabilitated, they do reoffend. What?
So we would definitely, that's an ultimate goal for the Greens, is to not have the prison system as it is right now.
What's your fucking replacement, you dozy bint?
In the meantime, we would...
Yeah, we're not going to worry about that right now, though. We'll come up with something else in the fuck's sakes. How did so many Christian Freelands get into fucking politics? Israel may have instigated that the next logical question is, who cares, what do we do now? My answer is finish off the Iranian power structure, then contain outside influence afterwards. Yeah, if you could. bear in mind, Iran is a very big country with a fairly large population. I think it's somewhere in the range of 100 million. And it's basically a mountain fortress. Like, it's a hard nut to crack. It's part of the reason that the Israelis haven't tried before. And I will point out, the Israelis now have said that if there is a ground offensive, they're not going to take part in it. So basically, the Israelis did the old, for U.S. and Iran, they did the old, hey, let's you and him fight. Yeah. People do bad things, so why do anything about it? Humanoid retard. Yeah, Foyd. Absolutely Foytard. Foytarded.
Massively want to reduce the number of people we are sending to prison.
Why? You don't reduce the number of people sent to prison unless you reduce the number of people committing crimes. Or you start shooting people. You could bring back the death penalty. That would actually lower your need for prisons. Of course, she probably would lose her shit at that suggestion.
I would want.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Iran is basically a bigger Afghanistan. Not really. It's more cosmopolitan in terms of the demographics. There's a wider mix of religions. Afghanistan's only real resource was opium. And yeah, I mean, Iran is much more developed than Afghanistan as well. It's really a different beast. When your politicians are far too insulated from the people they are supposed to be serving. Yeah, this and the female cop we saw earlier, they're far too protected by their positions. Yep, the biggest threat to Western civilization. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create white liberal women. White liberal women create hard times, yeah. What's this? I have no idea what this says. I want to see the complete abolishing of the prison system in Scotland. Prisons are not safe. They're violent. They're really poor for people's health and well-being. Yep. Taking criminals off the street is bad for criminals. Yeah. Yep. She's definitely got commie brain. What do you imagine a world without angry liberals posting their mental illness videos online in a parking lot? Yeah. About 93 million in Iran, says Didger, and 80% of the people hate the ones in charge. That's true. Every nation in the region is turning on Iran now. Continue the missile barrages until morale improves. Fair. Just replace the prisons with death penalties. That's what I said. Jesus, that woman looks like a puppet from a Hellraiser Muppet show. Do you ever just listen to someone and think, holy shit, you've got the IQ of a crayon? And not one of the really nice colors either. Probably the white one. Nobody likes the white crayon. Yep. No. Yes. I've searched everywhere, boss, but I can't find any sign of a brain in there. Yeah. Speaking of brainless commies, let's talk about the NDP. Avi Lewis, we have a very clear plan to cut grocery prices by 30 to 40% for Canadians at a cost to the federal government. We'd subsidize it. Congratulations, Avi. You figured out that you can take more taxpayer money and use it for government groceries. You fucking idiot.
This question of public option for groceries been taken up right here in the city of Toronto, which is now studying the proposal.
He doesn't want people to use the phrase nationalized grocery stores because, of course, that suggests that there's some fascist element to it. Fucking communism cannot exist without fascist fucking government. You have to force people into communism. You get it by hook or by crook. You either convince people that it's actually better for them, which requires that you play on their resentment of people who are better off, whether or not those people worked to get there, or you convince these people that reality isn't real and that they actually deserve, that they can actually get free things from government.
We sparked a national debate, and we have a very clear plan to cut grocery prices by 30 to 40% for Canadians.
By competing with capitalist grocery stores. But because you're backed by taxes, by tax money, that people have no choice but to spend, even if people don't shop at your grocery stores, at your government-run grocery stores, they're still paying for the groceries. Are you fucking retarded? Well, you'd have to be. You're a communist. A liberal eating crayons is cannibalism. It's close, yeah. Or they're trying to imitate Marines. Semper Fi, I'm just kidding. I like the Marines. How do you make groceries cheaper by using taxpayer money to buy groceries, you fucking retard? Exactly. Yeah. But we can make healthcare cheaper by making it public only, because then you're not paying the doctor, you're paying the government, and the government pays the doctor. Whether you use the doctor or not. So you pay if you use the doctor, you pay if you don't use the doctor. That's how it works in the healthcare, the public systems. You pay either way, whether you need the service or not. In a capitalist system, you pay if you use the service. If you can't afford to use the service, you're either forced to resort to charity, or, well, you suffer the lack of it. Let's see. Well, I guess we're not going to be meeting those NATO targets under an NDP government. Yeah. Where's all the money for that going to come from? Oh, that's simple. We'll just print money. Ah, so you'll raise inflation. Well, yeah, maybe. So what are you going to do when that devalues the dollar? Well, we will just print more dollars. Does the Zimbabwe $1 trillion bill mean anything to you? Yeah. We're going to cut grocery prices by 30 to 40% by taxing you even harder than the grocery offset. Yeah. Yeah, 36 to 48 billion should cover that. Not quite sure where he gets the 350 million from, but then again, I'm not an NDP moron. Yeah. Let's see. It's very evident there is no U.S. support for the war in Iran from anyone that isn't Indian, Jewish, or evangelical. If a ground war happens, I expect fragging of officers like in Vietnam. The only way they're going to manage ground offensives is if they start drafting people again. And the minute they do that, it's going to end badly. On the upside, we'll get an influx of sensible people into Canada. Maybe. I suspect they'd all just head for Mexico, which has its own issues. Hoist the Black Flag says the only money the federal government has is taken from Canadians. Taken. Reminder, taxes are not theft. They're armed robbery, because if you don't pay them, men with guns show up to your house to tell you you should. Yeah. We have a very clear plan to cut grocery prices by having some Canadians become dependents of other Canadians. Yeah, it's a great way to drive business out of the country as well, which will also increase the cost of things. $40 per hour clerks selling generic KD for the masses. The Politburo will have their own grocery stores. Yeah. At a cost to the federal government, we'd subsidize it. With what? Well, taxpayer money, obviously. I mean, where else does the government get money? Of course, Avi may want you to believe that the government just gets money from the ether, but that's not how it works. People are so stupid because they're allowed to be. Yeah. No country ever printed its way out of an economic crisis. Ain't that the fucking truth? Yeah. Okay, let's see what else we got here. From Naheed Nenshi. I'm ready to fight like hell for this country and against anyone trying to tear it apart. The richest man in the world, Elon Musk, wants Canada to become the 51st state and is now amplifying Alberta separatism. Okay, which is it, Naheed? Is it the entire country is going to be the 51st state, or Alberta is going to separate? In the middle of this tweet, you have made an absolute idiot of yourself. So let's ask the question, who is funding this movement? Albertans deserve to know. You know what I think? I think they deserve to know who's funding you, Naheed. And that's about all the time I'm going to spend on your ass, because I don't give a shit what you think either. Okay, we've got some company here, so I'm going to actually turn off my mic and grab my headset. 1 second. Okay. Didger says, nobody sensible ever flows north into Canada. We get the embittered commies and frustrated. Yeah. If the Californians could manage to get to Canada instead of Mexico, they'd be headed this way. And some of them do. Let's see here. From the British Patriot. Shocking. At Essex's Wethersfield base, military veterans proudly raised the English flag on British soil. Essex police raced in, demanded their details, and threatened arrest for antisocial behavior. That's right, they now view the English flag as a racist symbol. Excuse me. The men who defended this country now treated like criminals for flying its flag. This is what a police state looks like.
Flag's been raised on Wethersfield, guys. It's been reclaimed.
What's happened today then?
What?
We just get off and we got off.
Okay. All right.
Done.
Something about a flag?
Why are you out of breath? You just drove up.
Flag up?
We put an English flag up in
English
England.
or...
They're flying up the road. Yeah. They're literally flying up the road, bud.
Yeah. This would be for the thumbnail.
Yeah. Holy shit, guys.
Wow, look, they've got a whole car full. Did it.
Yeah, we've been on
Antisocial behaviour.
We walked on.
Gives us the power to ask for your name and your address.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
I'm sure she'd be really useful in a fight. And
we walked on.
Gives us the power.
Oh, but this one. Yeah. Darling, you're a cop. You may not want to have that on the back of your head for someone to conveniently grab.
To ask for your name.
Also, I do get a kick out of the fact that the men and the women get to wear different hats, so that they don't look, unflattered by the hat.
Name and your address.
Yeah, okay.
My God.
We walked on.
Gives us the power
to go back and point
to ask
out.
for your name.
Look at how fucking tiny this woman's arms are. Yeah. Darling, I can't wait to have you trying to back me up if some guy my size is trying to fucking beat me up. Fuck. I've just been informed this footage belongs to Truth Hurts 101 UK. Credit to the footage owner. Today's governments need to learn humility and respect. No. They need to learn fear and service. That's what they need to learn. Okay, I'm not doing that one. This one I'll do. Since we're in the UK anyway, let's talk about the UK. A little more. Again, from the British Patriot. What the fuck? This is from the British citizenship test. Question 24 of 24. Which festival celebrates the end of Ramadan when Muslims have fasted for a month? That's on the British citizenship test. Because, Ramadan is clearly a part of British culture. Yeah, I did say elsewhere that the question was asked, why is this question being asked? And I pointed out, well, obviously because Britain isn't a Christian country anymore. And don't be shocked if Christianity is outlawed soon. I missed something here. Better. Okay, does Naheed ever get this butthurt about Soros money? No? Then fuck that guy. I support Alberta independence. I'd rather not see the country balkanized, but it's probably going to happen anyway, so better it's at the will of the people than government. White Rattlesnake says, I'm not against Alberta staying in Canada or joining the US, but I think they have the right to decide for themselves. Yes. This cop deserves to be punched in the face repeatedly. True. Governments are best when they're afraid of the people. Yep. Looks like I discovered a banned word. Oh, which one? Does it start with F and end with T? And sound like... Nope. Does it sound like spigot? Does it sound like a bundle of sticks? Give us a clue. Give us a hint. Anyway, I'll come back. From the Heretical Liberal. This is a long post, but I'm going to read it because it's really quite important. And I should preface it with... Let me see. I don't have the other clip. Okay. The plight of Indigenous women in Canada. Yes, okay. The plight of Indigenous women in Canada is such a perfect example of how modern leftist thought has no ability to think past first-order effects and why it's all about feeling virtuous over actually solving problems. Excuse me. Sorry about your ears, guys. We often hear about murdered and missing Indigenous women and how they get killed at much higher rates than other Canadians, and that these women rarely get justice. So the subtext is always that somehow the reason for this injustice is some mix of colonization, the patriarchy, or white supremacy. We often hear how bad society is because of this, and how we need to, quote, do better, check our privilege, and that this is somehow a failing of all of society. Now, at the same time, there has long been a push to address Indigenous overrepresentation in prisons, and the solution the leftists have landed on is the Gladu rule becoming embedded in the justice system, which requires the court to consider the effects of residential schooling, racism, and other factors when deciding sentencing on Indigenous people found guilty of crimes. In theory, this could be considered an admirable attempt. In practice, what it means is simply that Indigenous people who commit crimes will almost always be sentenced to significantly less time than anyone else, or different time. In some cases, Indigenous offenders, for lack of a better word, Indigenous offenders are able to serve their time in a non-custodial area, sometimes on a reserve, sometimes at a sweat lodge or a healing lodge, or any number of things that are not as controlled as a traditional prison. But here's the kicker. Between 70 to 80% of murdered and missing Indigenous women are killed by Indigenous men. Go figure. And then these men are given ridiculously light sentencing because they're Indigenous, denying the victims justice. The Crown in this story asked for 16 years for this man shooting his wife in her sleep. He was given 6. He'll serve 3. So the injustice against Indigenous women is in large part caused by leftist attempts to address it. It's a classic example of modern leftism being so far up their own asses, good word, they're pontificating to the rest of society about a problem that they themselves are causing. Modern leftism is not capable of solving actual social problems. It's simply a way for privileged bourgeoisie white liberals, champagne socialists, to virtue signal about their moral goodness at cocktail parties, while the marginalized people they claim to champion continue to bear the brunt of their shallow and superficial political activism. From the National Post, killer's Indigenous heritage cited in lesser sentence for shooting of wife. The Crown wanted 16 years in prison for Brent McCook, who was convicted of manslaughter in the death of his wife, Rochelle Poole, the mother of their 2 sons. He shot her in her sleep. When you shoot someone in Canada, you are automatically supposed to be charged with first-degree murder, because you used a firearm. You can thank École Polytechnique for that. Yeah, what happened to that? Interesting how they bend the rules for right people. The heretical liberal is definitely getting a like out of that. Let's see. Banned word. Let's see. I wouldn't be surprised if after Christianity, European polytheists get banned. It doesn't matter. If you're white, it has to be banned. That's the end goal forever. That's the best way to look at it. Though given they're more of a minority, they might be targeted first. Wouldn't bet on it. It rhymes with a little purple fruit. Ah, really? Rape is fucking banned in my chat? That's weird. Considering I say it all the time, and it is on Rumble. If you're on mobile, that might do it, though. How do we begin to covet? We begin by coveting what we see every day, but it's all about colonizer genocide, guys. Yeah. Nothing to do with resentment or what amounts to an ethnic inferiority complex. But of course, I'm the bad guy for saying it's time to end, the whole ward of the state, Indian affairs, Indigenous affairs system, and make them Canadian citizens. Dissolve the reserve system. If they want to maintain their tribal traditions of having a chief and a band, by all means, but don't ask for fucking federal funding for it anymore. It's not that they can't see beyond, this is from Peter Oram, it's not that they can't see beyond the first order effects, it's that they deliberately ignore cause and effect. The effects are deliberate just so they can complain about the effects. It's like encouraging homelessness so they can seek more homeless funding. Or, opening a safe injection site so they can say, oh, look, we need more money for this safe injection site because it's actually preventing drug deaths. Except it isn't. And it's encouraging further crimes in the area. Yeah. Oh, okay, this was the next story I wanted to cover with this anyway. This works out. Speaking of murdered and missing Indigenous, from Jim McMurtry, the archaeologist who said she found 215 bodies in Kamloops has never found a body in her career. Has archaeologist Sarah Bolio discovered a single body in her career? Thoughts? No. There is no public evidence that archaeologist Sarah Bolio has discovered or excavated even a single confirmed human body, i.e. verified human remains or skeleton, in her career. Yeah, no, because she's using ground-penetrating radar, which doesn't actually find bones. I just told them I was sharing stories with the Wax On, Wax Off band, and they bought it. That's a good one. Yep. More sad news for Canada. Trudeau found alive this morning. Who cares? There's no, other than a moral win, which has no real practical effect at this point. There is no point in attempting to prosecute Justin Trudeau. Yes, it would be good to have that moral win. It might actually suggest to politicians that's a bad idea to be corrupt pieces of shit who betray their country. But we have, again, prioritizing. Rhymes with a little purple fruit, not Ben Stiller. I'm on PC. Oh, okay, maybe it's just Rumble being Rumble then. Let's see. I'd argue that over the holiday season, she has found and ate several chocolate Santas. Fair point. What's this? No, we'll leave that for the end. Let's do this one next. Speaking of shitty justice systems. Yeah, okay, we only have 2 left anyway. From Saxon African, he was a good boy. A Georgia Circuit Court judge has determined that Ahmaud Arbery's history of posing as a jogger in order to commit robberies will not be allowed to be presented at his murder trial. So the guy that shot him for pretending to be a jogger while attempting to commit robbery will not be allowed to enter the fact that he had done that before to commit robbery. He can't use that as part of his defense. Yeah. Tell me the judge isn't poisoning the fucking process? Yeah, and it's been 6 years since Ahmaud Arbery was shot anyway. Shot while jogging. Yeah. The fact that they weren't aware of his history makes it irrelevant to the situation. They could have simply called the police. Instead, they're facing life because they made a low IQ decision. You think so? I don't know. It's been a while since I saw the video, so. Let's see. Didger, I disagree. He needs to be prosecuted and charged. We need to wrench the House of Commons away from the Liberals first, and then investigations into Trudeau need to begin in earnest. Yeah, fair. It's a matter of priority, really. If you could only do one or the other, get the corruption out of government or go after Trudeau, I'm sure you'd agree with me that it would be better to get the corruption out of government. If they can do it now, that's good too. Sorry about hitting all caps. Don't worry about it. Not a big deal. I don't give a shit if you guys speak in all caps as long as it's not bothering you guys. First ankle monitor. You South Africans are disgusting. Did Ahmaud Arbery have a history of posing as a jogger to commit robberies? No. Arbery did not have a documented history of posing as a jogger to commit robberies or burglaries. Really? It's interesting. Ahmaud Arbery had 2 primary prior legal incidents before his death in 2020. In 2013, he pled guilty to carrying a weapon on high school campus grounds. In 2017, he was arrested for attempting shoplifting at a Walmart. At the time of his death, he was on probation for the 2017. Yeah. Arbery was seen on camera grabbing at the gun when he got shot. The whole scenario was a bit fucked up. Yeah. Fake news. Hello, looks like you came here to make fun of this stupid son of a bitch. Don't do this. This account paying money to Twitter. What? Oh, okay, whatever. Let's have a look at who you actually are, because, yeah. I'm not quite buying the picture, because I'm pretty sure I've seen that before. And you are in South Africa, supposedly. Well, yeah. I've seen quite a few scammers come out of South Africa, so. Let me just make sure I'm not following this person. I am. Well, that's unfollowed. Okay, moving on to the second last piece I'll share with you guys. The last thing I have to share is a quote from a wise writer of yesteryear. Well, the second last thing, I have some funnies to do as well. From the end of everything, Eternal English. The same right-wing London Telegraph that told us limitless mass immigration would pay for our pensions is now saying that young people need to prepare for a world where the state pension doesn't exist. It's almost like they knew it was going to happen, and they wanted to impoverish you intentionally. They're waking up to the fact that most of the immigrants are not productive. Are you fucking retarded to believe that? Something that should have been obvious a very long time ago. Exactly, they always knew it. From Surfona, I don't recall any right-wing source in the UK saying immigration would pay for pensions. Certainly not the Daily. Yeah, and he just drops a fucking bomb on you. Right? Brings the receipts. Good man. Let's see. Hunt, who's going to look after you when you're old? Hopefully not the migrants. 3 jailed for abusing care home residents. Yeah. Okay, we will bring up this quote from H.P. Lovecraft. History is a record of the domination of the weak by the strong, and no amount of moralizing can alter that fact. Moreover, attempts to ignore or deny biological inequality are among the most dangerous self-deceptions of modern man. Yep. Speaking of denying reality, let's talk about what the British programmers are showing kids. The BBC made a children's show, this from Basil the Great, that claimed black people have been part of Britain for thousands of years. Yeah, the propaganda does. Lies. The BBC is pure anti-white propaganda, absolutely true. Anglo-Saxon NWG. Anti-whites want total white erasure, also true. Give me just one generation of youth and I'll transform the whole world. Lenin. Yep. Not here for you. Bullshit, look at that. Of all the things that never happened, this never happened the most. Are you fucking retarded? You literally just watched it. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Something that made me laugh recently was this. The great banker that is our prime minister is driving banks away from his own policies. Morgan Stanley has joined the list of banks quitting quitting a climate group backed by Mark Carney. Goddamn fucking headline writer. Republican campaigns have characterized net zero groups as climate cartels. So this suffers from a little bit of American DS, sorry. Let's see. In 2025, the UK paid out more in welfare benefits than it collected in taxes. Translation, they've crashed their own economy. Yeah. By bringing in people from other places. It's too bad this started January 2025 and hasn't seemed to slow down the carnage one little bit. Let me be clear, I am the crisis. Ain't that the fucking truth? How'd the Bank of England do under his stewardship? Oh, yeah. Let's see. Okay, we'll go with this one because it does prove there might be reason to hope with the youth coming up. From American AF, Ion on Patriot, we are so back. Men under 24 are returning to homophobic views of past generations. In other words, we attempted to make it more palatable for young men, but it turns out nature has other fucking ideas. Yeah, go figure. And of course, it's pink nose. Rattlesnake, how likely do you think it is that Western nations will balkanize? I think it's extremely likely. What? Mark Carney is a shyster who ruins everything he touches and bankers are starting to flee? No, I don't believe it. Somebody being sarcastic, probably. Can't be true. It won't be true. No, I don't believe it. It's not true. It can't be true. Yeah, well, yeah. Sorry. Search your feelings. You know it to be true. Wow. Yeah. Imagine storming Normandy just so your grandson can wear women's dresses and call you a fascist. Yep. Pendulum swings, define homophobic. Nature is healing. Can we call people fags now? Well, in Britain you probably can't. Nice day, yeah. Phobia? No, I only fear God. The correct term is righteous abhorrence of evil. Yeah, I don't have homophobia, transphobia, or Islamophobia. I have homomisia, Islamomisia, and transamnesia. I find them disgusting. Straight men's physiological stress response to seeing two men kissing is the same as seeing maggots. Well, it rhymes with maggot. Let's see. Digger 2 Rattlesnake. If young white men discover their masculinity and recognize their need to survive, it's a surety. Yeah. That will more than anything else destroy the current the current paradigm. Let's say. Okay, so these are things that did genuinely make me laugh.
You can't come in here and pay me, and then you can talk to us all kind of way you want to, bro. The fuck?
I can talk to you however the hell
No,
I want
you
to.
cannot.
Go back to your damn country if you want to act like that.
Back to the... You just told me to go back to my country?
Yes, I did say that.
Bitch, I saw your fucking EBT card in there. Guess who?
So what?
Guess who paid for that motherfucking shit?
What?
I
Fucking
did.
get her, Lee.
Oh, well.
Bitch, you know how...
How do you want me to feed my kids? I'm fat.
Oh my fucking God, bro, you got me fucked up, bro.
Yeah, you got me fucked
I
up.
pay
Bitches
taxes.
like to eat.
for your fucking food.
Yeah, bitches like to eat and my kids like to eat.
I pay taxes for your fucking food, and you told me to go back to my country?
That's what you
Your fucking lazy, big-ass bitch. The fuck look like a fucking upside-down bowling pin looking ass. You look like my fucking suburban, okay? Fucking potato bill looking ass header. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, fuck. And their elders need to give them examples to follow. It can't be all on them alone. Exactly. It's not enough to hope that the younger people do better. It's incumbent on people of an age, 50, what are you going to do? But it's incumbent on people my age and, the elderly, or the elders, to show the younger generation, or to tell them at the very least, how it can be, what the right thing to do is, why you don't necessarily beat the living hell out of someone just because they scratched your car, or looked at you funny. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right there. Excuse me. Didger. Okay, one last one. Cue that up before I take that down. Okay. Well, not one last one. I have another clip to show, which I'm not sure what that is. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's one more thing that made me laugh, and it is political. Let's see. Didger says, LOL, Asian of the Year award goes to, yeah. Not quite a roof Korean, but he's definitely my kind of Korean. Yeah. Okay. From Traveling Flying, Taya. A Somali man says, if you kick out Somalis, you have to kick out every one of us. I'm speaking for all of my African brothers and sisters. If you kick Somalis out, you have to kick out all of us. All of us. We all leave together. My African cousin, I won't call you brother, my African cousin, your terms are eminently acceptable. Feel free to fuck off. In fact, fuck off until you can't fuck off anymore, and then take a 90-degree fucking turn, continue to fuck off.
If you're kicking out Somalis, you have to kick out everyone else. Like, I'm gonna be honest,
Why are you wearing a skirt? Well, let me rephrase. Why are you wearing a bed sheet as a skirt?
I'm speaking for all of my African brothers and sisters. If you kick Somalis out, you have to kick all of them out. All of us, we all leave together.
Notice how he speaks very good American. I'm willing to bet he wasn't born in Somalia.
Because if you kick us out, you have to kick everyone else. I'm gonna be honest, and I know everyone in the comments, or everyone watching this video agrees with me.
yeah, we do. Yep. You can all fuck off.
If you're kicking out Somalis, you...
Let's scroll down through here. It might surprise you, but your terms are acceptable. I agree, kick out all of them. Bye then. Deport them all. Your terms are acceptable, your terms are acceptable. First they came for the gypsies, and I said nothing, for I was not a gypsy. Then they came for the Somalians, and I said, make sure you get all the Somalis. Yep. Don't like the US, get the fuck out. Deport them all. Big or small, deport them all. Deport them all. But Arden, don't you realize that deporting people separates families? Doesn't have to. They can all be fucking sent away. Let me see. Please, you hadn't yet if Somalis get kicked out. You don't need to sell it anymore. Yep. Let's see. Oh, I do like this one. USA would be so much better off without Somalis. Imagine the horror. Safer streets, less crime, actual assimilation. Yeah. Also, that's not a Somalian flag. It might be South Sudan. Or, no, never mind. Might be some thing else, but it's not the Somali flag. Sounds logical to me. Terms accepted, accept conditions, accept terms, ready the boats. If you could just leave now, that'd be great. Daycare mountain. Ugh. How'd you know I'm Somali? Well, bye. Yeah, bye. Your terms are acceptable. I mean, he wasn't wrong. Everyone in the comments are definitely agreeing with him. Get the fuck out. Take Tim Walz with you. Room temperature IQ. Terms are perfectly acceptable. Yep. Deportations take too long. Hear me out. Yeah. Bad neighbors do make great fences. Okay, the last thing I have is from Nick Freitas. which is the hopefully last time I have to touch on the recent NDP leadership conference. But this is great. Also, stop dressing like an Ethiopian chicken dress. No, that's not fair. He's not dressing like an Ethiopian chicken. He's built like an Ethiopian chicken.
So I'm sure by now you've seen the clips coming from the new Democratic Party in Canada where they were competing in the most robust victim Olympics I've ever seen in order to get their little color-coded cards in order to determine who could talk at what time.
Yes, hello, I was standing here with my gender equity card.
This card was used in an inappropriate manner.
But it was this gal right here, the moderator. I think she was my favorite.
Point of privilege on microphone 1, then we'll go to microphone 3.
She looks very stern. She looks almost like she maybe is a commandant of the LGBTQSS. So I'm sure by now you've seen the clips coming from the...
I fucking love Nick Freitas. If you guys are on YouTube, definitely throw him a follow. I'll grab his channel link for you, because it's absolutely worth following Nick. One of the best commentators on the go, former politician. So yeah, he knows what he's talking about. Okay, I am going to go and pee, and then have a smoke and get my ass another coffee. And I will be back shortly. Let's see, Didger, I swear to God, the first time I saw a picture of that creature, I thought it was AI. I honestly did too. I can't lie. I truly did too. I thought, that's some of the best AI I've ever seen. And then I hit play on the video, and just like, oh dear God. Anyway, guys, if you're leaving now, or if you're watching in the future when this edited video will be out, thank you very much for being here. If you would like to support me, please go fling me a few bucks on Ko-Fi. Otherwise, please like, share, chat, comment, subscribe, follow, depending on which platform, because if you want to spend money on me, I'd rather you didn't do it on Rumble, but on Ko-Fi. Also, if you support me on a monthly basis, I will put your name in the ticker unless you say you don't want it, in which case you go with the Orangutan Gang. Other than that, I hope you're doing well. I hope you continue to do well. And as always, rise and rise again until lambs become lions. Bye-bye.